Feeling disoriented or confused, even occasionally, can feel unsettling, but many people dismiss these moments as simple tiredness or stress. However, when disorientation begins to appear with increasing frequency, such as trouble navigating familiar streets, misplacing objects, or momentarily forgetting where you are, it can be an early warning sign of cognitive dysfunction. These lapses often signal that the brain's memory circuits, particularly the hippocampus and interconnected cortical areas, are under strain. What starts as occasional forgetfulness may escalate silently into persistent cognitive difficulties if the underlying causes are left unaddressed. The danger of ignoring these early signs lies in the way disorientation reflects underlying neural vulnerability. The hippocampus, essential for spatial memory and contextual awareness, is highly sensitive to oxidative stress, inflammation, and vascular insufficiency. Even minor disruptions in these systems can impair the encoding and retrieval of memories, leading to confusion in everyday situations. For example, forgetting which floor of a building you parked on, getting lost on a familiar route, or misplacing personal items may seem benign at first, but they reflect a weakening of the neural pathways responsible for integrating sensory input, spatial mapping, and memory recall. Chronic exposure to metabolic stress, high blood sugar, poor sleep, and prolonged inflammation can exacerbate these lapses, increasing the risk of more pronounced cognitive decline. Neuroinflammation is a major contributor to early disorientation. Low-grade, persistent inflammation can disrupt synaptic function and neurotransmitter signaling, reducing the efficiency of neural networks that manage memory and orientation. In addition, vascular dysfunction, often linked to high blood pressure, obesity, or sedentary lifestyles, limits blood flow to critical brain regions, starving neurons of oxygen and nutrients. Over time, these combined stressors accelerate neuronal wear, impairing the brain's ability to process information quickly and accurately. Left unchecked, this gradual decline can progress toward mild cognitive impairment or even dementia. Lifestyle factors often amplify the risk. Diets low in antioxidants or omega-3 fatty acids fail to provide neurons with the protective nutrients needed to counter oxidative damage and maintain membrane integrity. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which can shrink the hippocampus over time and reduce synaptic plasticity. Poor sleep prevents the brain from clearing metabolic waste, including toxic proteins that accumulate in memory-related regions. Sedentary behavior limits cerebral blood flow and reduces the release of neurotrophic factors that are essential for neural growth and repair. Each of these factors compounds vulnerability, meaning that occasional disorientation may be the first visible manifestation of a slow, ongoing deterioration in neural resilience. The consequences extend beyond memory lapses. Individuals experiencing disorientation may find themselves withdrawing from social activities, avoiding complex tasks, or feeling anxious about their cognitive reliability. This avoidance further reduces neural stimulation, diminishing plasticity and reinforcing the cycle of decline. Emotional impacts, such as frustration, embarrassment, or fear of further cognitive lapses, can elevate stress hormones, feeding back into the neuroinflammatory process and worsening neural efficiency. What starts as minor confusion can evolve into significant functional impairment if left unattended. Prevention requires proactive, multi-layered strategies. Nutrition is central. Diets rich in antioxidants, found in berries, leafy greens, dark chocolate, and colorful fruits, combat oxidative stress, while omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish, flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts support neuronal membrane fluidity and neurotransmitter function. Regular physical activity is equally vital, as aerobic exercise improves cerebral blood flow, enhances neurotrophic factor release, and strengthens neural networks involved in memory and spatial navigation. Even moderate daily movement, such as brisk walking or cycling, provides cumulative protective benefits for brain health. Cognitive and social engagement also play a critical role in preserving orientation and memory. Activities that challenge the brain, learning a new language, solving puzzles, navigating new environments, or practicing memory exercises, stimulate neural plasticity, strengthening the connections needed to encode and retrieve spatial and episodic memories. Social interaction, which requires memory, attention, and emotional processing, further reinforces these networks and protects against cognitive decline. Conversely, Isolation and passive routines leave neural circuits understimulated, making the brain more vulnerable to disorientation and confusion. Sleep hygiene is another essential component. Deep and REM sleep stages are critical for consolidating memories, clearing metabolic waste, and restoring neuronal function. Consistently disrupted sleep impairs hippocampal performance, reduces attention, and increases susceptibility to disorientation. Establishing a regular sleep schedule, minimizing exposure to artificial light in the evening, and creating a calming bedtime routine are all crucial steps in protecting memory and spatial awareness. Ignoring early episodes of disorientation can have severe long-term consequences. What begins as occasional confusion may escalate into persistent memory deficits, impaired judgment, and diminished independence. Over time, the cumulative effects of oxidative stress, inflammation, and reduced neuroplasticity increase the risk of mild cognitive impairment and dementia. Early recognition and intervention are critical because the brain retains remarkable plasticity in the initial stages, allowing recovery and strengthening of neural circuits when protective strategies are consistently applied. Addressing disorientation proactively requires a comprehensive approach. Prioritize nutrient-rich diets, engage in regular physical activity, stimulate the brain with cognitively challenging tasks, maintain social interactions, and ensure restorative sleep. Mindfulness and stress reduction practices, such as meditation or deep breathing, can also reduce cortisol levels and support hippocampal function. By taking these measures early, individuals can prevent minor lapses from evolving into significant cognitive deficits, preserve independence, and maintain clarity of thought. Disorientation is not merely a fleeting inconvenience. It is a red flag signaling that the brain is struggling. Heeding this warning and acting decisively can protect memory, spatial awareness, and overall cognitive health well into later life.